I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 17th, Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Lead us, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Before we begin about the introduction of the PAC team, as we stated last evening, the city of LaPorte had a horrible tragedy last Friday, and I'd like to take a moment of silence for the young man that lost his life and the family, and think of all of them in their prayers and put them in your thoughts right now. So if we could have a moment of silence. Thank you. Introduction of the PAC team. Chief Breton.
I'll just let Jose come up here and speak about this, but this is a response to our street crimes team. With us being short, we had to disband that, and Jose Gonzalez came to me with this idea of instead of having 2 minds working on this, let's have 8, and they collect their data and they get together as a team, serve warrants, work street level drugs. But I'll call Jose up, Specialist Gonzalez up to speak about this.
Jose, welcome.
Good morning. So a little bit about our PAC unit. Pretty much we are all patrol officers who are assigned to patrol. Our normal shift, we respond to accidents, stuff like that, domestics and stuff. On our days off and our time off, instead of, we take time from our families to come and work for the city, make sure the city's safe. We work street level narcotics, as previously stated, arrest people with warrants, and any other crimes that occur in the city. We do this on an hourly basis, so again, we are assigned to normal patrol, but again, we take time off, either after shift or on our days off to come and do this, stuff like this. People from our unit include our unit supervisor, Sergeant Fabia, unit team leader, Specialist Allen, and then the 5 officers, Specialist Feldmeyer, Specialist Stewart, Officer Fluloff, Officer Piento, and Officer Simpson. We would also like to invite you on October 27th to a Coffee with a Cop event. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., where we're going to answer more questions about the PAC unit. And that's going to be, again, October 27th, Friday, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And then we would also like to introduce our crime tip hotline. That number is 219-380-7868. Again, 219-380-7868. That number is going to be available 24/7. So if anybody wants to like report any crime going on, or like the typical comments we get are like, hey, my neighbor has a warrant, or there's drugs in this city, or like on this street, anything like that, please report it to that number, and it's going to remain anonymous. Okay, either text or call. All right, thank you.
Officer Gonzalez, and again, we stated last night, this phone number for anybody that wants to call is confidential or text.
Yes, sir.
Is this the first time we've had a crime hotline like this?
Yes, besides Crime Stoppers. But before you sit down, you can tell this started in July, and what they have produced has just been amazing. These guys, they're all proactive. They have there's 3 canines on the team as well, and for what it's cost and the dedication these guys have, and this is Jose's brainchild. I mean, he came to me with this, and boy, he makes it work.
We're excited, and we'll make sure the community is aware of that number so you guys can be proactive, aggressive. Thank you.
Thank you all for the support.
Thank you.
Public comment, nothing here, nothing on social media?
No.
They like to wait when we can respond or when we can't respond after the meeting. Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
We have civil city payroll in the amount of $485,568.05.
I move we approve the civil city payroll.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Civil city claims in the amount of $885,387.76.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Sewage claims in the amount of $396,101.26.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Water claims in the amount of $315,838.99.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Bartholomew. Department head report. Please update us on any new information and be to the point. Brief, direct. Andrea Smith, HR.
Good morning, board members. I'll be back in a few minutes to discuss 3 items I have on the agenda for today. Thank you.
Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. Just want to say briefly that large and heavy trash pickup is this week. It takes place on your regular trash pickup day. Residents who need more info on what items are included in that can learn more on our website. That's all I got.
Beth West, Transport.
While she's coming up, so that large trash pickup, I know a lot of times the little flyers that come in the utility bill are sort of toss-aways, but really, always review those, right? Because it has the last one has the list of everything that isn't accepted.
I think she has a list on the website,
You know
too.
what? Yeah, okay.
Good morning. We just finished third quarter. Our passenger boardings, we had over 10,000 riders. To date, we have over 34,500 riders. That's the quarter-wise, that's 500 more riders than we did in 2019. And we traveled over 32,000 miles in just 3 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning. We just wrapped up the process for the Trails, Greenways, and Pathways Master Plan with the City Council last night for adoption and incorporation into the countywide land development plan. We're also going to be presenting that to the Park Board for their adoption. In addition, we're wrapping up the process. We presented the final draft of the Downtown Streetscape Pattern Book to the Bid Board and the Redevelopment Commission at the last Bid Board meeting. And then work continues on the comprehensive plan and transportation plan project for the city. We have completed the consultant selection process, and we'll be negotiating a contract with the top selected consultant and then bringing that to you eventually once that process is complete.
Thank you. Tucker King, Water.
So Water Department, we recently started, on Monday, we started our hydrant flushing program. So for the next few weeks, if there's any clarity issues that you may see with your water, call the Water Department. It's a normal part of our system. It's just keeping the water clean, essentially. And then we're actively working on our lead service line replacement program. And what I'll speak about in a little bit will be related to that.
Melissa Mischke, Wastewater.
I don't think I have any updates.
Minnick Engineering. And before you start, last evening, Rick Ogle came forward and said, will neighbors be included in the process, a part of Indiana Avenue? We said, yes, they will be notified, and there will be opportunity for them to speak, correct?
Yeah, it seems like it's coming up soon, but construction next year means that they're still finalizing their approval of the environmental document. Out of the the state is. The environmental document usually dictates kind of when and how a public input, meeting happens. So we do look to see those meetings probably later this winter, spring, I'm not sure. We have a meeting next week to go to do a constructability review with the state. So they've invited us, which is nice. Sometimes we're not able to get as involved in state projects, but on this one, they're involving us. We will, go out to the public too, but it's still pretty early in the process for that, because they're still kind of working out details in order to be able to present what their plan is and then get input on how that could be improved, and then they can make those improvements.
It's hard to look at them right now. Have you noticed a little difference? Courtney Parthune, anything from legal? Nick Otis?
No, your Mayor, I anticipate probably have some comments along with Andrea Smith on a couple of the insurance changes coming this year.
Jeff Batchelor, Streets and Code.
Yeah, we're finishing up, putting finishing touches on the quiet zone for the railroad. We're doing trees, fixing potholes, and then the code enforcement's at a summit today down in Logansport.
And by the way, back Weller Avenue, we get a lot of calls to, that's a different animal, right? To try to be able to put a new road onto Weller.
Yeah, so Weller is a project that we've identified for probably our next round of federal funds to apply for it. So it takes a process, but Weller Ave is going to be a pretty significant project when it happens, and we're going to need federal funds to be able to complete that street properly.
Because that's not normal asphalt road.
Yeah, there's utility work in addition to the road. There's not consistent sidewalks. There's issues with
Concrete
curb.
roads.
There's, it's a street that needs a lot of attention, and it's a very, very key street for us. So we need to make sure that we're funding it properly, and we're not going to be able to fund that locally without federal help.
Just because of the sheer scope of all that's involved, plus, I mean, the length of it, I guess, is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's parts that's concrete road too, and parts of it which is difficult.
Yeah.
Chief Breton?
Bolt for the Heart was Saturday, and even though the weather didn't cooperate, it was a huge success. LaPorte came out and really supported us. We needed 26 AEDs to get every police car to be equipped with an AED. We met that goal. 1 is going to Trail Creek, 5 to Long Beach, 2 to Purdue campus, 4 to Kingsford Heights, 5 to Westville, 1 to Kingsbury, 1 to Potawatomi Park, and 7 to LaPorte Police to finish it out.
Great job.
Really applaud the citizens, and everybody came out and helped.
And our officers that participated as well. Chief Snyder?
Our department personnel are undergoing their annual health screens, fit for duty this week, so hopefully all goes well there, usually does. And also, just to let the public know, there is a mock disaster scheduled for this Thursday morning. We'll be over on the South Shore tracks by American Licorice. You see a large contingent of emergency vehicles, you know that's what's going on. Nothing to worry about. We do this annually, mainly centered around hazmat, and EMA needs certain certifications to file with the state. So it is based on a train incident. So it's been very much in the news in recent months. So just want to let the public know that that's what's going on. It's not the real thing.
But it's for blocking crossways off because Norfolk Southern doesn't care about us, they don't care about communities, they're above the law, and it's absolutely asinine how they get to behave and block crossings and ignore our comments. And we've sent a letter to the CEO of Norfolk Southern. We welcome him here, we welcome anybody in here if they want to debate this, but they don't care about safety, they care about our depot building, which now has broken windows. They don't maintain it, yet they block our crossings when we need fire and police to have access. When somebody's going to be in danger and when seconds matter, and it's on them. So I hope they get with the program, at least stop blocking the crossings on a daily basis. We have no authority to fine them, to do anything, and they don't care. So you combine that, and our residents are at risk. So I hope Norfolk gets with the program, starts participating not only with this community, but Elkhart, Goshen, and some of the local ones. We sat in a meeting with the feds 2 years ago, and nothing has changed. So, Roscoe, IT, if you'd like to, if you have something. We like the orange tie.
Thank you, sir. Nothing at this time. I know I was at Fire yesterday, and we switched over some of the computers that they had over to iPads that they're looking at, trying to make things a little more, streamline the use for the employees there, and still working at PD and at different locations, trying to get everything functioning as best as possible.
And partner with Dunlin, and we'll figure out the volume here and everything.
Yes, sir.
We know it's an old system. We'll see what we can do to figure that out.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Bert Cook, Lee?
I have no report this morning.
Okay. If department heads don't have business before this board, go enjoy the day. New business. Trash removal service. Newly released commission.
I've got this one, please, thank you. I've got the info. Utility customer at 916 Lincoln Way is requesting removal of trash service from billing, as well as a refund of 1 year of trash services previously billed by City of LaPorte. The total for trash over the past 12 months of billing is $132.66, and we have received verification in the form of a billing invoice from Michiana Recycling that this address is serviced independently.
We don't need the, I happened to see our bill and saw that we were getting charged for trash, and we have private trash service. We don't need the 1 year refund. If you could just take us off going forward, that's fine.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
We don't need the refund, so if you could just make it pursuant to just removing us from the city trash service.
So I move we approve this without the refund.
Thank you.
Thank you. Second that, discussion?
I mean, when I was thinking when I saw this in our, come through on an email, that pretty tip right was what we've done before. When someone has been billed, we'll go back a year, that's it, but surely appreciate that.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Parking ticket appeal, Annette Leffler.
Morning. So I have a parking ticket appeal. The gentleman was passing through here, got here late, was leaving early, and was unaware of the parking restrictions in front of the Rumley. He stopped at the Rumley and spent the night with his sister, and then got up early and headed on to someplace, I believe. So that's his appeals, that he was unaware of it, and it was too late to move his automobile by the time he became aware of it. He had already received the ticket.
Chief? Are there signs out there?
Yes, there are.
I will deny the parking, make a motion to deny the parking ticket appeal.
Second.
Discussion?
I feel the same way. I mean, it's kind of, there's signs out there, and that's the perspective of, you know, the ticket was out, by the time the ticket comes, no matter what time it is, it's too late, right? You've been ticketed, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Release of interest and lease. Nick Otis?
Thank you. So this goes back to the daycare facility at 2510 Monroe Street. YMCA and the city of LaPorte signed, I believe, a 99-year lease back in the 1990s. Typically, when you sign a lease over 3 years, those get recorded, and so if somebody's doing a title search, that shows up. This document that you'd be signing today removes, on the city side, and then the YMCA will sign it, so we can remove that lease from the title work on the property. So if at some point the city decides to sell it, we have marketable title.
So I move we approve the release of the lien, or the, I'm sorry, the release of the lease.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Lee Company invoice.
We are just asking for approval to pay an invoice for Lee Company Incorporated, which installed the seats, the new seats at the Civic. It's in the amount of $399,840.
Does this clear up? So it'd be zero balance?
Yes, yeah. Correct.
So moved.
Second, discussion. Have you sat in the seat yet?
I've been down on the floor each time, so I haven't went up and sat in them, but I've sat in the practice chair over here.
Wonderful.
I'm looking forward to sitting up there in the stands.
And if you're not aware, I learned that there are some secret seats that are even a little wider that Mr. Otis has been keeping from us.
Well, Mark Schreiber told me, so there's a couple in order to make in the corners to make the aisles, you know, the same width. Some of the seats are a little wider, so. Come tournament time when your team loses, Mayor, you can go sit up there and see basketball.
I do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Fire service.
So
invoice.
the bonds for the tower truck were sold on October 12th. Because we used streets as collateral, the bond proceed process was a little interesting. So they wired the funds to us, and then we needed to wire the funds to Fire Service Incorporated. We agreed with Fire Service Incorporated from the get-go that we would have the funds to them in 120 days from the beginning of the bond process. That date would be October 13th. So I'm asking for retroactive approval of the wire transfer so that the city of LaPorte would still be able to receive the $70,000 discount on the tower truck, which is what this invoice is.
I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. So we didn't pay any more, and we kept from having to pay the 70,000
Correct.
additional. Okay.
And Mr. Otis, no issue with us doing this kind of in arrears, right?
No.
Okay.
Motion to approve. I have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Chief Breton.
Before you, you have a letter of resignation that I don't want you to accept, but I do want you to accept. Jared Schaefer came to us a little over 3 years ago, 21-year-old kid, and has turned into a great police officer. He's not leaving us for another local law enforcement agency. I'll keep it at that. But his future is bright. We always knew his future was bright with our department. We hate to see him go, but we're very excited for him. I think he needs to come up and
Absolutely, and bring your family with, please. We just feel like this is a big loss for our city, our community, and we wish him well.
Well, good morning, everyone. Today's really bittersweet. I started at LaPorte back in 2020. I was 21 years old, and I'd just like to go over by thanking several people. I got a laundry list, but I'll just go from the top. But obviously, thank you to the city and Chief Breton for giving me the opportunity to come here and perform my duties to the best of my ability, and I hope that I met those expectations and or exceeded them. And, you know, obviously, my wife right here, Ashley, she has made a ton of sacrifices, especially on those late nights. I'd go out and work cases all the time, and she's about to make another sacrifice with me being, you know, gone for a while. So she's gonna do great though, and obviously she changed a lot of diapers when I was out working those cases. So little Miss Adeline right here's a little shy.
And who is this?
This is Adeline. Very shy. So you know, and then obviously. And I want to say, you know, thank you to the Chief of Detectives, Detective Ferguson. He, you know, has guided me along with Detective Ullman, Detective Drangmeister. They have helped shape me into the investigator that I am today. And without their guidance and without their wisdom, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today. But, you know, that's, like I said, it's a laundry list. I'm not going to go everything. I want to keep it short and sweet. But, again, I thank you all for the opportunities that I've been given here.
You will be an asset wherever you go. We wish you the best.
I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you.
Lease agreements.
That's actually, those are just going to be for replacement lease. We've already paid the lease payment. We're just changing VIN numbers. These are cars that, the one's been ordered since February, and it just got here through LaPorte Chrysler.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
So just I mean, it's basically, it's the vehicles that are already approved to come in, they're just, it's a different VIN number than what was initially.
Right. We did a whole slew of these back in probably March.
okay.
And this is finishing up that we started in March. That's how far behind they were.
And this motion will include both, not individual.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Mary Ann
Mayor,
Richards.
real quick, while we got the police, I think the PAC team walked in right after they got done
Oh.
speaking, and I know you introduced them last night, maybe if you.
Chief, would you like to introduce, or Officer Gonzalez, would you like to introduce your team in person here?
Introduce our team, you said?
Please.
Yeah. So we have our unit supervisor, Sergeant Favia. He's the one we go to. He's our guide. He's our mentor. So any headaches we get, he addresses them. That's our guy right there. Our specialist Alan, he's not here. That's our unit team leader. And then we have 5 patrol officers. Specialist Stewart was here. We have Officer Simpson as well, Officer Pienta, Officer Fluhoff, and myself, unit commander. So it's a unit comprised of 3 in the command staff and 5 patrol officers.
Be safe. We wish you the best.
Thank you, sir.
Can't really miss Officer Favia when he walks in the room, you know?
Mary Ann Richards, change order.
Good morning. I have 2 change orders for the homeowner repair program, and these are HUD funded through the CDBG program. They're both regarding electrical repairs. One of them is at 321 Niles, and it's for $525. The second one is for 1710 K Street, and it's for $445. And there is money in the HUD budget to cover these.
Motion to approve?
I move we approve the change order. Can we approve both at the same time?
Yes.
I think, okay. I move we approve both change orders.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. David Heinold. Welcome back.
All right, I'm bringing my laptop back. David Heino, Assistant City Planner. So preliminary and final plat, it's 2302. It was submitted and it was unanimously approved by the Plan Commission on October 11th. And so we're requesting approval of that. It's subdividing really like 3 lots into 2 lots. So the second lot will be about 17,000 square feet, which meets the minimum lot size for the B2 General Commercial District, as well as the minimum width is 100-foot wide. I'll answer any questions. I also have Reed Jans with Excel Engineers listening as well.
And why are we doing that again?
They submitted the application to split off the lot to be sold to another party for what was approved for a drive-through restaurant, special exception use on the smaller lot. The existing lot, the bigger lot, would be continue to be the used car sales.
Okay.
It's there now.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion.
No issues here from, like, streets, water?
There's some concerns we have about the development of the site, but we're working through those with the actual developer.
Okay, ultimately, like any issues, I mean, we would have to work through right before.
Yeah, it's a challenging site. It's in a wellhead protection area, so stormwater is kind of an issue that we need to maintain certain quantity and quality leaving the site and can't infiltrate. So it's just, there's a lot of extra kind of moving pieces to the site, but the subdivision process is somewhat separate from that part of the development.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Andrea Smith, thank you.
Good morning again, board members. I'd like to read a letter that I sent to employees back in September about why we're switching to North Shore clinics. Late last week, the city of LaPorte was informed by Wellport that they will be ceasing operations effective January 26, 2024. During this time, appointments for care may still be made and flu shots will be provided. The city of LaPorte will be partnering with North Shore Health Systems, which have several locations throughout Northwest Indiana, to use as our employee clinic. The clinic will function similar to Wellport and have a full pharmacy on site, which we do not have right now. We have had several LaPorte employees tour the North Shore Clinic to obtain their input about this change, and their input was very positive. Attorney Otis reviewed the North Shore agreement and has approved it. It is attached in your packet. The LaPorte location of North Shore is currently at 508 Legacy Plaza, and they have approximately currently 13 locations that we will be able to use. And Craig Menny's here if anyone has any questions, along with Nick Otis.
Do you need a motion to approve, or is this just information?
No, we need that, you do approve that, yep. And we made changes specifically to it that we've requested. Andrew, do you want to address any of those at all?
We made changes that we have a dedicated provider for the city of LaPorte, that we're able to use other clinics, and also that we get together on a monthly, quarterly basis to go over, review what's happening at the clinic. And we are within a mile of, the city has to be within a mile of a clinic, and we meet that requirement as well.
Yeah, so they don't currently have a clinic here. They're going to open one. The anticipated location is just outside the city limits, and we wanted to make sure that, 6 months from now, they don't shut that down and our employees and insureds have to go to Michigan City, for example. We want the whole purpose of this is convenience. So, I don't know if we want to bring up Craig Menny, but this is.
Well, wait, they do have a location.
At 508 Legacy right now.
Right.
Correct, right. So as long as they have that here, that's
Yes.
fine.
So this is maintaining that location.
Correct.
Then
And
under
having
this-
an on-site nurse practitioner or doctor at all times.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, so Wellport, they won't have a site at where the current Wellport is, correct?
Correct.
No, correct.
That's gonna go away for us as a
Yes.
city, and then 508 Legacy.
Yes.
Will be the location.
Currently,
And then,
yes.
as a dedicated, so the dedicated provider will be nurse practitioner or physician, or
Depends.
either?
Either or. Either or.
Okay.
It'd be great.
I think for most of the things that people get treated with, the nurse practitioner is very capable of doing that. But obviously, if we can get a doctor, that's great too. So they are expanding in Northwest Indiana, as we understand it. And they're going to have, any one of these clinics people can go to, but obviously the preference is that we have a facility here in LaPorte.
If a, individual's needs go beyond the scope of what a nurse practitioner can do, then what's
What-
sort of the next step?
Same thing what Wellport does now, refer you right to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you wanted to note the 340B pricing for pharmacy,
Yes, I
which
do,
is
of
the
course.
huge.
Excellent.
Yes, we go.
Great point.
North Shore is a qualified federally funded unit. So because that pharmacy is on site, most prescriptions dispensed to our employees will be able to be picked up right there, and they are at 340B, and the pricing will save us a tremendous amount of money. And I think we looked at 100,000 maybe a year, approximately. So that's a huge amount of money we'll be saving, and the employees will be saving as well.
Great.
Can we just have Craig come up real quick? Because I think it's important to understand the savings that we get by doing something like this.
And this is something that's, the 340B pricing's been going on with clerk's office, your office, and thanks to GIS, because that's amazing.
Yeah, correct. Good morning. Craig Menny, President of General Insurance Services here in LaPorte. Good to see everyone. Yeah, that's correct. And so the Wellport partnership presently allows for certain meds to be filled, but it's a little clunky. There's some additional cost share to the member. Being able to access the 340B fee schedule will benefit not only the city, but the plan participants as well. So yeah, no, certainly excited, as Andrea mentioned, projection would show over $100,000 of savings. There's some element of, folks are still, they can go wherever they like, can still use whichever pharmacy they like. It's just if they utilize this clinic, then everything will be covered at 100%. So hopefully a strong financial inducement. Again, where someone else wants to continue to buy it through mail order, they'll be free to do so. That's just more expensive, so.
But they'll receive the 340B pricing if they receive their medication through North Shore, which is open Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, pharmacy, and some pharmacies are open on Saturday as well. And also, North Shore will work with a specialty doctor. Currently, we don't have that right now. So North Shore will have the ability to work hand in hand. If you have a specialist you see, we have a meeting with North Shore tomorrow to work all that out. But that's another great thing, that you will be able to get your specialty meds dispensed at North Shore.
Right, and then to add to that, that's a really good point. They do have certain practices in-house. So for example, here in LaPorte, there is a physician who's a pediatrician. So that specialty is going to be available to the city plan participants. And then they also have a very strong behavioral health and mental health team. That's not something that Wellport's able to provide today. So actually, we're really excited about that level of support for all of the city participants as well. So they've got a strong, strong team on that front. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're working on dental and vision, so that may be a future opportunity. They've got the space, but it's just a matter of getting the providers recruited ultimately.
Craig, what do you see? You work with public and private employers. Having this option drives down insurance costs. Is that for the city?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to help stabilize costs. There's no question. I mean, the prescription drug inflation is significant. So that's a very strong headwind that we're just trying to confront. And then right on top of it, coming out of COVID, as a general matter, the population's gotten less healthy. Deferred care, avoided care, the toll of the behavioral health, constraints have led to, an increase in costs. But yeah, this is just a strategy to help to control those costs over time. And then yes, for what it's worth, my own plan is we're self-funded. We partner with North Shore as well to control costs. So in terms of how we're spending our own money for our own colleagues. And North Shore is not perfect. I mean, providers have struggles and those sorts of things, but they're earnest and work to do a good job.
And this will begin January 1st.
So bringing up the 340B, does the fact that they're a federally qualified health clinic insulate them from any of the legal challenges to 340B pricing being offered? So that keeps them kind of separated from that?
Yeah, precisely. So they've done this for years. Their HRSA auditor that they work with at the federal level, has signed off on they like the fact that this is serving public sector entities. They feel it's within the scope of what the statute was created to do. And so really the stipulation with 340B is that it needs to be an open facility, open to any provider. So as is the case with the present location, anyone can make an appointment and see them. That satisfies that requirement.
Okay.
Yep. Now, you raise a good point, Mark. So in order to use that pharmacy, an individual must be a patient of North Shore. It is a closed pharmacy. It's their own pharmacy. It's full service, but in order to fill scripts, anyone needs to be a patient there.
Yeah, I think because you pointed out, like, if someone can't go there and then go to Walgreens, any other pharmacy, and get that pricing, it has to be through that closed pharmacy.
Yeah, for the plan to pay 100%, it needs to be, filled there. So where this comes into play, again, the specialty meds are the really expensive ones. Where there's a specialist, then a referral's in place with North Shore, the specialist can then write a script to North Shore. So if it's a University of Chicago doc, practicing a cardiologist, whatever the case might be, that cardiologist can then write the script to North Shore here in LaPorte. And it can be filled and picked up here in LaPorte.
That's a great advantage.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a step there. It involves kind of coordinating that care and the communication with North Shore, but yeah, the additional step saves massive amounts of money forever. And again, the convenience of being able to pick it up here. And then further, I would say that the the pharmacists that practice over there really enjoy, because it's closed, they can spend more time with patients, they can spend time collaborating with the providers. And so you're avoiding, like, just in the news, I think last week, Walgreens was talking about their pharmacists talking about doing a walkout because of the working conditions. This is the other side of the spectrum where it's closed and those pharmacists can practice, what they got into that space to do. So it's, that's very important, right? Where there's side effects or folks have issues, to be able to pick up the phone or go in and talk to them, work through, and they're cognizant of cost as well. So it's a really great partnership from that perspective. So.
Love the fact, I think adding the mental health component to it is really, really incredible.
And we've already seen the effects from having a mental health officer. Just one situation alone has made it worthwhile for an annual wage, and being here in the city of LaPorte. Just seeing her work one time is amazing.
She's fantastic, I have to say. I am more impressed the more I see her. We found a great person.
Amen. And then just as well to say, so, I was involved with Wellport getting established 12 years ago, and I do want to, commend Northwest Health for the partnership over the years. They've certainly struggled with staffing and the challenges there, and they've got to focus on their, kind of core business. Healthcare is a tough business to be in. So again, I just want to thank them for the partnership over the years, and their intent's not to leave the city high and dry. Again, they've been collaborative and kind of worked with North Shore. So again, I just want to give them a kind of tip of the cap for, being good partners. They're doing what they have to do, but.
We've had good conversations at the end here.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And Mr. Minnie, most important thing, thoughts and prayers out to your father. He has touched a lot of lives in this room and throughout the community. Great individual. He's a fighter, and we just all are praying, and we're all in it for him, so.
No, appreciate that. Yeah, his chemo starts tomorrow, so, yeah, appreciate it.
Tell him we're all thinking of him.
Will do, yeah, thanks.
Equitable life insurance.
So, we are switching from Mutual of Omaha to Equitable Life Insurance. There are a few reasons why we are doing this. Longer rate guarantees. It allows for our current HRIS system, EASE, to automatically do a data feed for probably every benefit that we have. And the best part is it will be at no charge. So we will be saving between $5,000 to $6,000 a year by moving to Equitable. Same life insurance costs, same plan setup as we currently have. This seemed to be a no-brainer with the savings that we're going to get.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
You second, right, yes, no discussion for me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Stop loss and TPA renewals.
And then Craig will be up here to talk about the stop loss.
Yeah, so what I believe you have in front of you is the executive summary on the renewal with UMR in Berkeley. So the insurance committee, we meet every single month, monthly plan optimization meetings. And so the recommendation from the committee here, looking at all of the other available stop loss options, continue with Berkeley still makes the most sense financially, continuing with UMR. And just to sort of walk you through the kind of the specifics here at a very kind of high but efficient level. Total fixed costs, total costs are expected to increase from a budgeted perspective 7.2%. The fixed cost, so that's the premium. Let me back up a second. As you may recall from prior discussions, the city's partially self-insured, meaning the city's the primary insurance company. We purchase stop loss. We have a $125,000 deductible, so the city funds claims under that amount. For extremely large claims, we purchase stop loss, which is what Berkeley is providing. The premium component of that excess coverage is projected to go up from $294,000 to $315,000. So again, that's a 7.2% increase, roughly $21,000. We are active in a captive, so some of those dollars can come back. Typically 4 out of 5 years, we get a return of a portion of that premium, which can help to stabilize those, those costs. And then most of the budgeted increase comes in the expected claims. So if you look down under the total plan cost, bolded in the expected line, we're projecting overall 2.6 million today to 2.8 million next year. And so, for example, we just talked about the benefit to 340B. We're hoping to garner that benefit over the coming year. From an underwriting perspective, because that's not in place, they don't have the data. So they're saying that's great to move in that direction, save those costs. The city will benefit from. This is merely the actuary's projection of what kind of current state this cost trend would look like. So the other thing we're proposing here, what you see on the right-hand side, the numbers, the increases I just referenced are annualized. So for Courtney and her team, from a budgeting perspective, the 7.2% increase is what should be budgeted for the entirety of 2024. But included this is an assumption that the stop loss renews next year 10/1. The benefit to that is that we can get the rates locked in, put together Q3, so that now heading into Q4 and open enrollment, there's a lot more sanity, again, from a budgeting perspective, from an open enrollment, from a rate setting perspective. This changes nothing for the employees. This is just back office administrative, efficiency. But I just wanted to explain why it says 9-month annualized at the, at the front. So what we'd be doing next fall is coming before you in advance of 10/1 to get the renewals approved and get things running on a more, the fourth quarter is a very kind of constrained time. So trying to smooth that out, work proactively.
Questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Thank you both. Tucker King, upgrade to Open Gov.
So today I wanted to talk about upgrading our OpenGov asset management program. Currently, the water department has been working with Cartograph traditionally since 2016. In 2022, Cartograph was bought out by OpenGov, which we are already partnered with for our permitting software. So this upgrade would be to our enterprise asset management system. It would allow us to roll out to not just the water department, but sewer, stormwater, and streets, and everyone else at the city. We can get more users connected with it. We can get more data into the program. So moving forward, we can make better decision-making and spend our money more efficiently.
Anything to add, Clerk Treasurer Porte?
What's the cost of the?
Okay, so there's the prorated cost for this year.
For 2023?
Yeah, so we would pay, we would take effect, it would prorate the cost of the program moving forward would be $30,000 a year annually or whatever, but they would prorate it for the rest of the year to finish that service out. Our contract isn't January 1st, it's actually March 1st, so it's technically for like the next 6 months that we'd be paying for, so half that price. So the cost for the rest of the year would be split between water, wastewater, and engineering. The total cost would be about $17,000. And then moving forward would be $30,000 a year, or $30,366 a year.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah, as long as water, wastewater, and engineering are comfortable, yeah.
I mean, the goal eventually is, after we roll it out to everyone, that we'll see a cost savings across all departments, and, as people kind of see the value in it, hopefully other departments will get on board with it as well.
So what was our cost before for the asset management software?
Currently, water department takes on that bill completely, and it's $12,000 a year, I do believe, so it will be an increase of $18,000, but it will be, again, split between those departments, so.
So then when, in thinking in terms of like what the future savings could be, like where is that savings gonna come from?
That savings comes from us being able to coordinate on projects more easily, so it's going to decrease the siloing of our projects and the planning of our projects, because we'll have essentially a single source of truth in which you can look at, hey, these assets are at this quality of health. We are already planning on doing some kind of capital improvement in this area. What other assets can we do at the same time? So we are more efficiently spending our money at one project, similar to what we're doing with the letters and number streets, versus, hey, we're going to repave Weller Avenue, but we're not going to think about what the water main or the sewer main is like underneath it. And then 3 months later, after they've done all that work, we have to go and tear up those brand-new roads and replace water and sewer assets, essentially.
Okay.
So the idea is just, get everyone on the same page and, work together.
It's also extremely helpful for asset tracking. So the ability to understand, say, what is the cost to crack seal a mile of street? That's the type of data that we can get out if we put good data in. I want to thank both Melissa and Tucker for kind of really spearheading a lot of this, and it's a great opportunity. We went to OpenGov because Clerk Treasurer's Office was using it, and we wanted to get on kind of one consistent system. And with OpenGov purchasing Cartograph, it's an opportunity to have really one platform that speaks to each other across the city for both kind of asset management in the field and then, permitting and financials and transparency, everything. So it's a great opportunity, I think, to make our community more efficient. So, thank you, guys.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Jeff Batchelor, quote for Indiana Ave project.
Yeah, we have 3 trees over on Indiana and 1300 block. We went out there to check and take them down, and they were just too big. They're probably the 3 biggest trees in LaPorte. So this is the quote to take those 3 down. It'll actually be done tomorrow if this gets approved. So that's what I'm asking approval to get these trees taken down.
And these funds will come out of,
I'm figuring that out.
Okay.
We have the funds, I just have to figure out where they are coming from.
and again,
It's
these,
the end of the year, so we have to just, well, we have the funds, I just have to figure out where we're paying for it from.
again, these trees at one point were wonderful for our community, and now, as they pull up sidewalks and do other things, it's difficult. But we do have a grant coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were awarded through the Forest Service $1 million for urban forestry purposes, and I think it's going to be a city-changing amount of money for us.
It's a great way to put it. Do I have a motion to approve Ellis Hardwoods?
So moved.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Ford F-350 repair.
Yes, we had a truck breakdown, and the cost of it to get fixed is $7,699.20. This is one of our regular work trucks, so I'm asking that we use that money to get it fixed.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Just, I imagine with the cost of that repair, it's worthwhile repairing it versus
Yeah, no,
the
it's,
vehicle in this?
when it was under warranty, it's been fixed twice. So now it just went out of warranty, so now we've got to fix it again. So, and there's still a lot of life to it. So, yeah, it's well worth the money to get it fixed.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have an auto person specialist in the back? I can't tell. No?
He's here for Reeve Riley.
Oh, I thought, I couldn't see very well, and I thought that's who I thought it was, okay. Melissa Mischke.
So I have a request for, excuse me, for contract 2A of the Letters and Numbers project for the amount in $275,281.78. And that brings us to about 49% on that portion of the project.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion. When do we look like that'll be completed? Still end of the month?
We need to get an updated schedule, so I wasn't able to.
I know we had some rain.
I know that the I Street portion, they are still on schedule to complete before the winter. As far as the water portion of it goes, they're doing side street connections and services, and that's going to continue on for maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks. Concrete work is still ongoing with sidewalks, and I think they're all the way up to 14th Street.
And
So-
half of the project, so when we look at 49%, half of the project actually, well, not half, probably a third of the project happens next year. So that was designed that way to make sure we weren't impeding traffic for longer than we need to.
Yeah.
But the road will be completed.
So next year, the remaining piece will be sort of off of, like, I Street will be done.
Correct.
Traffic can move up and down I Street. It will be. sort of
Side
the
streets.
Side street connect,
Yep.
okay.
And you'll notice, we kind of put the road on a road diet, but people will be able to park along the sides now without, because it was difficult.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I noticed that, well, the road, definitely narrower, but there still will be the parking.
Yeah, and the
Both
travel,
sides?
travel lanes aren't narrower, I don't believe. I think the travel lanes are actually the same size. It's just the parking lanes are protected and better defined.
With curbing and,
Yeah.
okay.
I thought it was
It
tighter so
feels-
people will slow down.
Well, it is, but because there was no definition between a parking lane and a travel lane. So the actual roadway width really doesn't vary from what was there. It's just how it's designed narrows that travel lane. So, if a car isn't parked there previously, you had, 20-some feet of roadway to play with, and that encourages people to go faster than they should on that residential but key thoroughfare for us.
If you could get us an update, though, again, the neighbors have been very supportive and understanding through this whole process, so end of October still sounds great. Pay request, yes. Number 5, no, I'm sorry. Montisol, right?
I think we're going to do
2B.
2B
Okay,
for letters and numbers. And that one's in the amount of $353,982.35. And that project is around 26% complete.
motion to approve,
So moved.
second, discussion. I continue to be impressed with HRP Construction as well. I think they do a very nice job. And it's really our first job with them.
They did the last phase, did they do both phases? They did the last phase of Monroe Manor as well and did a
Okay.
very nice job for us there.
And that young man, John, I think, has been willing to go to doors, has, addressed situations. So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Discharge permit, Montisol.
So I think that Matt Amor has given you some paperwork on the permit for Montisol. And at this point, he's gone through that pretty rigorously.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
I think just, so really no changes from
Not really.
prior.
I think it's just the permit renewal.
Renewal.
Okay.
Right.
They're a great partner in our community. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Recommendation for award for wastewater treatment plant paving.
Okay, so we sent out requests to several firms for plant paving improvements, and we received back two requests, quotes rather, and they were tabulated by Nice Engineering. We received them on October 12th. The two that we received were from Reith Riley and Milestone. And the apparent low bidder is Milestone Contractors North and is considered to be qualified. And it's the opinion that we should award the lowest and most responsive bidder to Milestone Contractors in the amount of $74,906.
From a legal perspective, because these were opened under the quote versus here, we can award.
Correct. Yep.
And that's just for the public's perspective. We can open them at their location because it is only a quote.
Correct.
Okay.
So should we approve pending any legal engineering review then still?
We're good on review.
Good, okay.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, further discussion. Now, do we take strictly lowest bid on this, or is there also consideration for quality?
It's difficult to justify a lot of times anything other than lowest bid. Quotes are a little bit different in that we solicit quotes and they're not publicly advertised. So we know that both Reed Riley and Milestone have provided quality asphalt to our community over the years. So we're pretty comfortable saying both would continue to provide that. So.
And was the engineer's opinion of probable cost put out there with the quote, so they both knew what your expectation was? Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Truesdale reconstruction.
I have a pay application for Truesdale reconstruction in the amount of $640,041.24. This is taking us to right around 50% plus or minus contract. It's been reviewed, everything looks good, and we recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
So so you said 50% roughly? What's the timing on this?
The project timeline is going to be completely determined by NIPSCO's ability to relocate their utilities. We started utility coordination in July of last year once our plan set was pretty much final and right before we went out to bid. So NIPSCO's kind of been working in the background, and it's kind of crunch time, and I know they're working very hard to try and make sure that we meet our timelines to open the entire road by the end of the construction season. But it's going to be dependent on, like I said, them being able to get their utilities relocated.
So is there a concern here that they won't get it done by the time?
We've been assured by
construction?
NIPSCO that they will get it done.
And we have some contingencies in place to at least partially open if they are not able to complete that, but we have been assured that they'd be able to get it done.
There are not any contingencies we're going to use. We're going to get this done, and I don't know if Mr. Cook has any updates. The last I heard, it's on schedule.
I mean, because we're
Yes, we're down to the
way
wire.
out of schedule here.
Yeah, good morning, Mayor, Board of Public Works. I would probably defer to Nick, but yes, NIPSCO's, the most recent communication I saw was that they had worked through some internal issues and that we were on track to get things, to meet the schedule that Nick has set forth.
And your date was?
We needed it delivered essentially middle of October, so they've got a couple weeks that I think we're still okay with. So, not thrilled with.
Well, that's right now, the middle of the month.
I know. Essentially what happens is NIPSCO relocates their poles, but then anyone who's on those poles needs to relocate as well. And I think they generally start about 30 days after that, but I think in this case, we've had enough coordination that I believe Comcast is one of the only ones on the poles that are key to keeping the project moving forward, and we've had good communication with them. So I think we'd be able to shorten that 30-day window and make sure that we can pave by the end of November. So
And you're comfortable with that? End of November?
I'm as comfortable as I'm.
That'll get it done, because we need Truesdale through, and if the others, so what we're saying is NIPSCO now, and the other providers by?
And by middle of November allows them to pave the last 2 weeks of November.
Perfect.
Yeah, kind of concerned. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that.
Yes.
If somebody drops the ball.
Yeah.
Well, you might be out there
bad
working,
spot.
it's right by your house. Just come out and help out.
I'll go out there and dig.
All right, do I have a motion and a second? Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Also, just a reminder to the public regarding the sidewalk by the post office, Nick, we're waiting on Acme.
Correct.
To finish their removal of?
Telecom. So they're a telecom company. Frontier Took a little while. Those are actually NIPSCO poles, but Frontier had to relocate off of those poles. They have everything set. There's one more utility that needs to be relocated, and then that project can continue as well. And just for public's knowledge, these are, that project in particular, not Truesdale. The trail project is a federally funded project. So utility coordination on the Chessie project started over 2 years ago. And we as local government are kind of bound with limitations when it comes to private utilities. And in this case, 2 years hasn't been enough for private utilities, apparently. And it's continually a struggle on our projects, making sure that telecom and others are relocated in a timely fashion. And it's not something they always are able to do. Sometimes they do a great job, so.
Do we have authority, if we want to call Acme to say, hey, we'll pave over you?
The problem is the way that the laws are written, we have very little authority to force anything. There's potential that we could try to recoup costs, but I've only seen it successful once or twice.
Did we vote on that?
On Truesdale?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig Phillips.
We have a re-advertised bid for the property located at 1400 Lake Street. I believe we received one bid. Okay, so we received one bid. The bidder is Terry Vidito Mobile PTO. The bid amount is $20,000. It is submitted on the proper bid form. This bid does meet the minimum bid amount. We did re-advertise the bid at a lower amount since we did not receive any bids at the average of 2 appraisals previously. This meets, this $20,000 does meet the minimum bid amount for this offer. So I guess I would request award of the bid to Terry Vidito Mobile PTO pending staff and legal review of the documents, just to make sure that everything's in order.
And this has been an eyesore for quite some time.
So this is the property that's kitty corner to the southwest of the water plant that the city owns along the railroad tracks, between Lake Street and the railroad tracks, to the west of Tyler.
What were the, I don't recall what the average of the two appraisals was.
45?
45 to something. I apologize, I don't have that exact number with me, but
But in that
45,
range, like right
200
around there?
something, I think 250 maybe. We re-advertised this for a minimum bid of 20,000, based on just understanding the market conditions, which we're allowed to do in the event that we did not receive the bids that we wished, so.
And the property just sitting there.
And the state of the property, just the nature of the property, we feel this is an accurate and reasonable bid.
And the street department having to maintain it has been a problem. I mean, you spend a lot of time over there taking trees down, and it's time to get it into private hands.
45,250 was the average.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, discussion?
I mean, well, bottom line is, right, even though it's still less than what we'd like to see at that 45, did meet the criteria, met the minimum, gets it off, puts it on to tax rolls.
Also, just to know,
Reduce the
appraisals for
maintenance,
vacant land are often inflated. They're often out of line with kind of markets conditions in some cases, especially, this is especially an issue with vacant land, and this is a vacant piece of land, so it's not out of character for that to be the case sometimes.
And we believe he's going to move relatively soon to
Our
develop
understanding
that.
is, yes, that Mr. Vitito is ready to execute on this project pretty quickly, so.
So does he stipulate what the project is?
It's a mobile service for repair of PTO systems for various equipment that have PTO, they're driven by PTO shafts, basically. And I think he intends to grow the business on the property as that business continues to increase. So basically, it houses the service operation. But it's mobile, so it kind of launches from this location and then comes back to this location, as I understand it, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Other business, fall cleanup, don't forget, May 16th, which is this week, and through the 20th, get your mattresses and everything else out. Trick or treat, Tuesday, October 31st, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Halloween there, so make sure what's Cole gonna go as this year?
Special ops. I don't
Oh,
know what that is, but he's been wearing it for a month, so.
you know, as our community works through this tragedy, as the family does, as the school corporation does, Chief Breton, any thoughts, how the police department is having to deal with this and address situations from individuals in our community?
Right now, we're taking a report for harassment at the bus garage, people calling in. I just, once again, stress that people remember there's victims here, even the students on the bus. Everybody's a victim, and this is just hurtful, and the report is available now. We did for the press, so there's nothing being covered up, like is being said. They need to just let it be and let the victims work through this.
Further comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? We are adjourned. Have a beautiful day, everybody.